see your stars, but the dark gets lonely. Now I see violet, I can feel silence. And the dark's all that I see. When your stars have burnt out and your heart makes no sound, I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. You're the night sky hiding behind dark gray clouds. I can't figure you out now. I see all blue. There is so much cold in you, and the silence is so loud when you go. I just stay dancing with my shadow all day. Watch the tide. I can't find the point where to pass the line, but you're the night sky. I'm trying to see your stars, but I've always feared the dark. Now I see violet, I can feel your silence. You always feel so far when your stars have burnt out and your heart makes no sound. I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky.
Inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the tunnel closest starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep, I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. I laid awake just begging to let go. I almost got to suicidal thoughts, but you stepped in. An angel sent from heaven showed me how to live again. Now I'm falling and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. gravity. 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 Gravity.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Aspire Sports Show. I'm Tyler, followed by my co-host here. We got Kyle, Giggs, Ryan's here. He's not currently here. He's doing something. He'll be back here in a minute, but we're going to be bringing you all the fantasy advice, kind of going over waiver wire, player news, injury news, that kind of thing. Talking about the game tonight, what to expect, players to play, player props, bets, parlays, all of it. DFS, we got it all here. So first thing I want to do real quick is I want to go through the player news. And if there's anybody that I'm forgetting here, just let me know, guys. So the first is Christian McCaffrey is not expected to play again this week. Makes sense. I believe they have a bye next week anyways. So it kind of makes sense to have him just sit out, get fully healthy. Chris Carson may not return as well. His status looks doubtful. Drew Brees, broken ribs and a collapsed lung. It looks like 2 to 3 weeks, they're saying. Possibly longer. They just want to make sure he's healthy before they bring him back. Teddy Bridgewater got an MRI on his knee. He's okay. They sound optimistic that he's going to play this week. Just keep your eye out. Hopefully he plays. Matthew Stafford got an X-ray on his thumb, came back negative. Should be good to go as well, but something to monitor throughout the week as well. Austin Eckler not going to practice this week. Anthony Lynn came out and said, the football doc said he's not going to be coming back until December. I believe what the football doc says. So I don't think he's going to be back till December at the earliest. And then a developing story here. AJ or AB, Antonio Brown. Did you guys see that? Did he like break some cameras or something weird like that? Like he broke cameras. Kyle, you have it. Did you already see it? Like I'm under Ryan.
I think he destroyed, like film or something, cameras that had him doing something.
Yeah, so it's breaking news. So I don't know if anything comes out of it, but definitely something to consider with a person that's already has a track record of, being in trouble basically the past 2 years now. So
Not
something to
only
monitor.
that,
A
he's
little
already
worrisome.
on thin ice with his court proceedings still going on too.
Yeah, so it's not a good look. I don't know what the severity is of all of it. It's kind of just developing here. So if you have AB, you should be a little concerned, I think. And I'd be looking to try to unload him right now, just in case anything else comes out and he ends up getting suspended or something. Even could get cut because Bruce Arians already said that he's on thin ice. Like they're not taking anything. He's on thin ice. They'll cut him if they need to. So something to watch throughout the week as well. Anyways, I believe that's it. Any other that I possibly forgot that you guys know of?
I think that covers it.
There wasn't that much
The only
player
other
news.
thing would be the Steelers are still undefeated.
That's true. That is true. But yeah, there's not much this past weekend in terms of injury news. Like obviously you have Breeze, but really like all your skills players really were healthy. You did have Mike Davis who had a thumb injury. I guess now that CMC is going to miss this week, something you'd have to keep an eye on. He did come back into the game and finished in the game. I think he had a splint. I don't know if it was a thumb or index finger, whatever the case may be. Had a splint, was able to finish the game. So obviously that's good, but something to monitor throughout the week as well. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about some waiver wire ads real quick. And if you need some other waiver wire ads, we have a video just for you to go out and check out a little bit more in depth as to who to add this week. But at the top of the list really should be Wayne Gallman. He's 50% owned in leagues. That should be much higher. Kalen Ballage looks like he's definitely the guy in this backfield as long as Austin Eckler is going to be out. I think he might get a few more weeks here being the guy. So somebody that I would go and get out. Definitely one of the top waiver wire ads. Also, Salvan Ahmad. I don't know how to
Isn't
say
it
his last name.
Ahmed?
I
Isn't
don't
it Ahmed?
know because they were
Uh,
like Ahmed. They were saying it like that. So all the announcers,
Ahmed.
everything I watched, something like that.
There's
So
a
he's also
old
a top
Jeff
waiver
Dunham
wire ad
puppet.
as well.
Old Jeff Dunham puppet. Ahmed the Dead Terrorist. You ever seen that? That's hilarious.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, there's a goat legend.
But also Jacoby Myers definitely needs to be owned. Honestly, even like 10-team leagues, he should be owned in all leagues going forward. He's seeing a ridiculous target share right now. It's upwards. Well, this past 2 weeks has been over 40% target share. So 100% needs to be owned in every single league going forward. But then you have some other guys. Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston going forward is going to be a pretty solid ad as long as Drew Brees is out. How do you guys feel about Jameis?
I like
Yeah.
Jameis.
Yeah,
Go
he
ahead.
looks solid. Like
His
we
next-
talked.
Yeah, or Ryan, doesn't matter. Yeah.
I was just saying we talked a little bit about it yesterday. Kamara was just like feels solid too if you have Kamara at this point too. Because when Jameis took over, I was a Kamara owner, fantasy owner, looking for a big comeback yesterday, and Jameis Winston was just the offense was then Kamara once he came in. So feel pretty good if you're a Kamara owner. Maybe even better. Well, no, because Drew Brees wasn't hitting it downfield, so probably about the same. But definitely feel good if you have Kamara in this situation with that quarterback change too.
Are him and Mike Evans like even remotely the same dimensions whatsoever? Mike Evans, I think, is a little bit taller, isn't he? Yeah, he's 2 inches
Who?
taller, Mike Evans, than Michael Thomas. So I actually think those. I mean, I don't. Who even knows what's the status on Michael Thomas at this point? Like he had caught 2 of 7 targets. Holy shit. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I think that those two could maybe get something going, but I don't think Jameis, the first game, is necessarily going to be anything that you're going to be like, oh, he's back. He's still good. I think it's going to take him a while to get into it, but he has been there for weeks, so it's not going to be too long. It's just a matter of him knocking off the rust, and I think they'll be all right.
How do you feel, Giggs?
I pretty much agree with Kyle. I don't know if it's going to be like instant offense with Winston. He's got weapons. You got Sanders, Kamara, and Michael Thomas and Cook. But I have not been high on Breeze this year. I know he has a couple big games, but overall, I don't think he can throw it downfield as well as he has been able to in the past. And we all know Winston, he can throw it pretty much anywhere on the field. It's just a matter of consistency with him. So I think he's going to be playing that Teddy Bridgewater role where it's, can you get us enough wins to keep us in contention in the NFC? They're 7-2 right now. He doesn't have to win every single game. He just has to keep them afloat, and I think he'll be able to do that.
And Breeze did say it. He said in his post-game presser, he said something. It's been a lingering injury for him too. Like this isn't part of the injury was new to this one, but he also said it's been ongoing. So that could have been some of the issues he's had passing it downfield. He could have had like a cracked rib or like a injured rib for a few weeks now. Just was playing through it.
And let's also not forget that he is 41 years old. So yes, modern day technology, medicine, practices, whatever, are allowing players to play much longer than what they previously have been able to play. But at the same time, he's also 41 years old. It's definitely going to factor into this. I will say this. There could not be a better time for Jameis to become the quarterback because they play Atlanta twice in the next 3 weeks, and they play Denver. So those are 3 decent matchups. Well, especially Atlanta twice is really good matchups. Denver has been okay. They've been like middle of the pack for quarterbacks this season, but Atlanta twice, 2 really good matchups for Jameis. I do have high expectations, honestly, for Jameis going forward. I do think that he just had they have a good offense with plenty of weapons around him. He's a gunslinger. I know you're gonna say Sean Payton is probably gonna make it conservative, but at the same time, I do think he's gonna go out there and he's gonna be able to press the ball downfield, make throws that honestly Breeze can't make anymore. He used to be able to make the throws, but he just can't make them anymore. I don't expect it to be super efficient, but at the same time, he was a decent quarterback. Just made some stupid decisions last year, but had to in certain situations to get them back into games because their team was just pretty bad.
My only
If you're
thing
in a
is,
suit,
like, is this a team though that can afford for him to make those mistakes? And the Bucks, when he was there, they weren't a team that are built for Jameis Winston to turn the ball over in their I mean, but this defense is a lot better than any defenses he's had. But they've also have improved through the season, so at any point I feel like it could just go the other way. Same thing with the offense. They were struggling a little bit in the beginning of the season, so I just don't know if this is going to be like the Saints in the beginning of the season again, and now they're starting to get hot. Is Drew Brees being gone going to take away that momentum for a little while and maybe for too long? I don't know. But I do think you're right. I mean, he's a legit quarterback, so if it does happen, it won't be long. And he could be the future for the Saints. I mean, that's why they got him.
if you're in a super flex league, is Jameis Winston the number one ad this week?
I was going to ask that question and just in general for fantasy.
I think so. I think they said that they're hopeful that Breeze comes back 2 to 3 weeks. There's a chance, honestly, I think that it could be longer than 2 to 3 weeks. So if you have 4 weeks from Jameis, a quarterback, yes, I do think he's a top ad, especially in like 2 quarterback leagues. If you're hurting at quarterback, 100%, I think he's the top ad.
Oh, I'll be adding him. I've been running Stafford, Danny Dimes, and Foles, so
Yeah, so I think he's a really good ad. And you also have to look at who else are you going to be adding this week. I think Kalen Balaj is one of the top ads. I think Wayne Gallman, obviously, but at the same time, Kalen Balaj, how much longer do we have? And for a couple more weeks, then you have the Ahmad or whatever, however you say his last name. What happens with
strange to
Breida
me.
coming back? I don't know what happens with Breida coming back, and you only have a couple more weeks as well with Gaskin. So I just think Winston is definitely one of the top ads if you need help, if you're in like a 2 quarterback league or like you said, super flex, definitely. Agree? Or disagree? Agree. So let's go ahead and
Any
talk
questions
about
in the chat, by the way?
yeah, and if you guys have any questions, let us know. Let's go ahead and talk about other waiver wire claims. So I'm looking at just like obviously if you have a guy that was dropped that shouldn't have been dropped, he should be your number one priority, whatever the case may be. But in terms of guys that were rostered under 50% right now, well, 50 or 50 under 50%. Wayne Gallman's 50%. Do you think he's like the top waiver wire ad this week, or do you think someone else is?
definitely Gallman. And then if Nyheim Hines has still been, if he's sitting out there, you got to get him too after Thursday's game.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's solid. Gallman looked good.
yeah, he did. He looked better
And
than he did
how
in the
about
beginning
Damian
of the
Harris
season.
too? Damian Harris is 59% for Yahoo leagues. So that's
Damian Harris looks
And-
solid. It just Sony Michel, just his lingering comeback whenever it decides to happen. The Patriots' backfield's always been a mess, and Sony Michel is always part of that mess. So you would think at this point they should just give it to Harris because he consistently looks good week after week. But Belichick is just a dummy boy when it comes to just fantasy purposes, you know.
I'm curious about 2 people on the Patriots now, though, too. Have you looked at Jacoby Myers' own percentage at all, roster percentage?
I can pull it up.
Yeah,
And then we
I forget
talked
what it
about
was. It
him
was
in the
pretty
beginning of
low.
the season, but
I think it was honestly like
we all kind of said the same thing. But I actually starting to think he might be a focal point in this offense moving forward is Rex Burkhead. I think they
48.
like him. He's a good receiver too. It's something they don't have. And I'm starting to wonder maybe for some people, if you don't have any, I'm starting to think about if he's out there, I might pick him up because he's week to week. He gets more points than Leonard Fournette, honest to God, at this point. I don't even know if Ronald Jones isn't a starter next week, I'll be shocked.
I will say this about Rex Burkhead though. If you're going to be adding Rex Burkhead, I think he's like their red zone guy. Honestly, I think that's what his role is. Like he's used especially in the passing game around the red zone. He honestly does get some carries down there as well. Um, but it's going to be like the way I listed the guys. If you're in a league and you need to win right now, the best ads this week, in my opinion, are going to be like Jacoby Myers, Kalen Balaj, um, Wayne Gallman, obviously, and I'd rather have like all those guys, Michael Pittman Jr., Nahi Himes, if I already said him, I don't know. But all those guys over Rex Burkhead, just because I feel like their roles are more solidified than Rex Burkhead's. So that's my only counter argument. But he should be somebody that should be rostered, but at the same time, I think Kalen Balaj gives you more of a chance to win this week. And if you're a team that is on the fringe of playoffs, you need to add the guys that are going to give you chances to win this week. That's why if I'm a team that's on the outside looking in playoffs right now, I would add Kalen Balaj over Wayne Gallman just because Wayne Gallman's on a bye week this week. And if you need to win this week, Kalen Balaj is going to see all the touches in that backfield and probably get you like around 10, 11 points if you're desperate and need an ad this week.
So then what's the deal with Freeman? Do you know?
I honestly don't think we see Freeman back this year. I really don't. He's on IR.
Oh, that for okay. It's that
While,
bad.
while we're
or
talking about,
they
well,
just don't
okay.
feel the need. But go ahead.
I just feel like they shouldn't feel the need. He's somebody that they added midseason. They have Wayne Gallman. He's looked good. So why even bring him back?
While we're talking about Balaj, should we bring up the whole ridiculousness was what happened with Pope yesterday? Like they kept saying he's gonna play, and then he just doesn't touch the ball. They're like, it's a running back by committee. Let's run with the hot hand, and then he literally doesn't touch the ball.
Right. No, I do think that was some BS. Hey, we've had it before, plenty of times already. Smoke screens. What's up, Ludi? If you want to check out a good streamer, go check out Ludi. He's pretty good. But I do agree. But let's any other final waiver wire ads thoughts before we move on?
Does it for me.
Good. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on, and we'll talk about the expectations for tonight's game. We'll talk about tonight's game. Actually, before we do, let's just go ahead and real quick. Is there any other players that you want to talk about heading into next week, or players that you're concerned about? Anything along those lines before we go into tonight's game and just kind of talk about it?
I am
for the rest
concerned
of the
about Teddy Bridgewater. If you do need a quarterback, I would go pick up who we were just talking about, Jameis Winston, if Teddy Bridgewater is your starting quarterback, because I am concerned. I haven't heard anything yet, but the way he was limping on it, I don't think he'll be back.
No, I
this
said
week.
something about it
Earlier. Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying in general, there's somebody that you can pick up Jameis Winston for. It's Teddy Bridgewater. If he's your quarterback and you're watching this, Jameis Winston's probably available. Go pick him up.
Did
'Cause who
PJ
knows?
Walker come
It
in
could be
once
weeks.
Bridgewater went down?
I don't even remember. I wasn't
The
even watching
XFL
it.
stud. I think it's PJ. I think it's PJ Walker. I'll just double check that.
But I don't know if it was
But
the
we can
same
continue.
knee, though. I'm curious. I don't know if it was the same knee. No one. There wasn't much clarity on his injury a long time ago. I don't think a lot of people wanted to really discuss it. But we got a question in the chat.
12 passing yards.
Which 6-3
Who will
team?
finish second in the AFC North? I think I'm going to say the Ravens, but the Browns, they could do it. If they can just run the ball. They do have a pretty good schedule coming up too. I was looking at their schedule. I think that
Just
Chubb,
kick it
if you
off
can
with the
get Chubb,
Eagles.
this is what I'm going to say, right? I'm going to be releasing a buy and sell video tonight, and this is what I'm going to say in my video. If you have Dalvin Cook, I would try to go out and trade him for like Chubb, and you could probably get a little minor piece as well at the end of the trade, like a bench player, and do that trade just because Dalvin Cook has a really brutal playoff schedule. He has 2 really good weeks coming up, but I think that Chubb and that offense, they're going to just run the shit out of the ball every single week. So I think Cleveland, as long as they can run the ball effectively, They should be really good.
And you got to think
Gibson or
too.
Drake? Is this going forward? Oh, who should I start week 11? Gibson or Drake? I think Gibson, personally.
They both
Yeah, I don't
only
know their
had
What do you guys
matchups.
think?
19 touches, both Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. That's nothing for putting over 200 rushing yards up. Them splitting like that is going to keep them both healthy too.
For that stretch playoff run.
I know Gibson plays Cincinnati. I don't know who they play. The Cardinals. I forget who they play. Who do the Cardinals play? Do you know? MP.
Look it up.
You have Chubb. Chubb's a beast. He's a beast. He's really
Cardinals play
good.
Seattle on Thursday.
Finally, a good Thursday game. God.
I would definitely go Gibson because
What was wrong with last week?
Oh,
Seattle's got a
actually,
good
no,
one.
you're right. Last week was pretty good. No, I am. The week before that was kind of shitty because the 49ers suck.
Yeah, they do suck. All right. Well, then let's go ahead and just start talking about tonight's game. Anybody been looking at some bets for tonight's game?
Yeah, I started to.
Go ahead. Well, real quick, I made a parlay. I did this earlier today. Well, go ahead, Ryan. Talk about it, and I'll get my parlay pulled up.
Well,
here.
just general bets that I like. I'm getting the idea as I read stuff. I think Kyle Fuller is going to be pretty much. I don't know if completely shadowing, but I think following enough on Thielen that I don't love Thielen tonight. Because Kyle Fuller's playing like one of the better cornerbacks in the league right now. So I'm down on Thielen. And for that reason, I then put a little bit of an uptick on Justin Jefferson. But I'm pretty sure I'll have something with Thielen's under in my parlay for the people.
If you need 10 points in fantasy tonight, Ryan Nall or Anthony Miller?
Ryan Nall.
Ryan Nall.
Darnell Mooney, I think Ty brought it up the other day or maybe last week or someone brought it up about I think it was Giggs actually brought up how Mooney has taken over Anthony Miller's role. Like the Anthony Miller role of this offense is now pretty much Darnell Mooney, and it's phasing Miller out quite a bit.
What a freaking sick name.
Ryan, yeah, I know.
Yeah, Ryan Hokie. I mean Von Hokie.
Let me just say my parlay real quick. I do have a parlay for tonight that I looked at this morning. I was looking at it. Well, who do you think wins the game tonight?
I think the Bears might.
I think the Bears are going to win too. This is my parlay for tonight. I have Darnell Mooney over 43.5 receiving, the Bears money line, and then an alternate spread minus 2.5 Bears. And that pays $36 if you bet $10. I like it because I do think the Bears win tonight. I honestly do think they win. What
I
about
have my parlay right here? If you want me to say it,
go ahead.
the parlay for the people. So apparently there's been a lot of movement on the Darnell Mooney line for receiving yards because I got it at 45.5. I went the over 45.5 for Darnell Mooney. I have Jimmy Graham as an anytime touchdown scorer, and then I have Thielen under 59.5. A $10 bet there pays 124.
Oh.
All right, one more time. I'm going to tweet it.
Darnell
A-Rob
Mooney
playing. Anybody knows? Hold on real quick.
He is.
A-Rob is playing. He's playing. He's officially active. Yes.
It's Darnell Mooney over 45.5 receiving yards.
Okay.
Jimmy Graham to score anytime. And Thielen under 59.5 receiving yards.
Under?
Under, yep.
I need Cook and Thielen to not score 33 points. It could happen. This is a tough matchup for both of them. Chicago's defense is pretty good, and it's a tough matchup. So it could happen for sure. Giggs, how about you? You think AJ Brown bounced back for sure? This was it was a terrible matchup for Tennessee going into that game. So I think AJ Brown definitely bounces back 100%. I'm not concerned about him at all. If you can get him for pretty cheap, I would definitely go out and try to get him if somebody's worried about him. But for sure, going forward, he'll be fine. Giggs, what about you? You have some bets for tonight?
I guess I like Mooney total receptions over 3.5 if you're going to do a player prop. I also like Kyle Rudolph over 2.5. Irv Smith's out, so maybe Kyle Rudolph gets a little involved tonight. Other than that, those are probably the only two I'm big on right now.
What about some of your DFS plays here?
Yeah, so single game, I think it's pretty clear that Dalvin Cook will be the chalk at MVP. I think Dalvin Cook, Foles, Cousins, and A-Rob are all fine plays at MVP, especially if you want to be different from everyone else by playing Foles, Cousins, or Robinson, because like I said, everyone's playing Cook. And if you're going to play one of those quarterbacks, I would try to stack them with one or two players. So if you're going Kirk Cousins, maybe pick between Thielen and Jefferson and then throw in Kyle Rudolph. And then if you're picking Foles, maybe go Robinson and then Mooney or Graham. But I'd rather go Foles as my MVP if I'm picking a quarterback because he's cheaper and he throws way more than Kirk. And I think that the skill position players are cheap relative to the Vikings skill position players, especially like Anthony Miller, 7,000. He's much cheaper than Mooney. This is probably the only place I like him more than Mooney, just because of that price. And if I'm looking at the running backs for Chicago, I just think it's a mess. I think Ryan Nail, Lamar Miller, and Cardale Patterson are going to be involved. I don't know which one's going to be solid. Nail had double-digit points last week, but he's at 10,000. I think I'd rather play Jimmy Graham, Mooney, or Miller over him there. But if you want to get real weird, go play Alexander Madison. I doubt he'll be heavily owned because of Dalvin Cook at MVP.
Hey Ryan, how much did that pay again?
It was 124 on a $10 bet.
Okay.
A-Rob or Mooney tonight, since A-Rob might be hurt a bit, I'd still go with A-Rob. I know he might be a little bit banged up, but the dude's a stud. I wouldn't sit him for Mooney, but I do think Mooney's a solid play as well. So I'd go A-Rob, but hey, if you're feeling a bit frisky and you're thinking, hey, you know, these guys, I don't trust them that much, go Mooney. Go Mooney. But I do think A-Rob's a better play, personally. In season long. Now, DFS might be a little bit different. But all right, well, what about, so is this on FanDuel then, Gigs, that you're talking about?
Yes, until DraftKings unlocks my account.
The bastards.
Yeah, I know. I'm beside myself. I don't get it. They don't want my money.
I will say on DraftKings that I'd probably go, I do think Mooney's a pretty solid play for the captain spot. 9,900. I think that's a pretty solid price point. Rather than A-Rob, he's like 16,000. You have Dalvin Cook 20,000. I'm definitely not going Dalvin Cook for that much. Or I do think, like Gig said, Jimmy Graham right now he's at 10,800. I'd probably just go Mooney though, but Jimmy Graham is a decent captain spot as well. And I do think Nick Foles, I would definitely have him in my roster as well. I think Nick Foles is going to have a decent game tonight. And then on the other side, oh boy, I really don't know who I like. I'd probably go Jefferson rather than Thielen, but I don't know. Would you go Kirk Cousins? How did you feel about Kirk Cousins?
I'd kick the can. I'd entertain it because if you have the quarterbacks, this is how I see it. Quarterbacks can score the most points easily every week. Like that's why they average more points, right? And if they're priced cheaper than a running back, that's always, appealing for me because I already know everyone wants to go Dalvin Cook. They're definitely going to box score chase with that. So for FanDuel, Kirk Cousins is more expensive than Foles, so I wouldn't consider him there. But I don't think that Kirk Cousins is a bad play because if he gets 20 and Dalvin Cook doesn't, then that's the right move.
Mm-hmm. For sure, especially with all those people playing Dalvin Cook, there'll probably be a ton of people playing him. So, agreed. Who do you think wins tonight? Let's go ahead and just do our projections here real quick. That way we're not pressed for time. Is anybody ready? Does anybody want to go first, or?
I'm not yet.
I mean, I think the Bears will win.
What do you think the score is?
Score, I'll go 24-17. Another one of the bets I do like is Foles to throw for over 1.5 touchdown passes.
1.5. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So it definitely should be on your DFS lineups if you think that over 1.5. What did you say the score? Or
24-17.
24-17. Bears?
Yep.
You're saying? Okay. Gigs, do you know or no?
Yeah, I think that the Bears are actually going to win this one, but I think it's going to be close. I'm going to go 28-24.
Oh man. Don't make me pick Minnesota. Kyle, hopefully you pick Minnesota. You want Minnesota, right?
No. No.
Oh my gosh.
No. No, I mean, I think they have a pretty good chance. I mean, the Bears defense is really good. I was gonna say I do have a bet that people should make. I'll wait on that one, but I don't know. I think Kirk Cousins, like Gig said, is a pretty good play, and Dalvin Cook is gonna probably pop off tonight. Let's be real. And I think that they're going to be in the game the whole time because I don't think the Bears offense is explosive enough to put up a big lead to where the game's going to be put away early. So I think the Vikings will be in it the whole time, and I think it'll be a pretty good game.
So who do you think wins?
God, I didn't want to answer. I'll go Vikings
Hey,
32 to 27. Weird score.
32.
No, I'm just kidding. I'll go 35 to 27 because the Bears are going to
Whoa.
kick a few field goals. They're not going to get them tutties. But I think the Vikings, honestly, their offense will probably be, I have a feeling it's going to explode a little bit tonight.
What Kyle's saying is smash the over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you say the score? I'm going to keep
35
track
to
of it.
27.
Hell yeah.
I was way off last night, and I didn't think that game was going to be high scoring at all, and I was way wrong. It was fairly high scoring. It was a pretty decent game.
Hey, real quick, I want to make all of our listeners some money. Here's a real fun stat. Nick Foles has only thrown under 38 pass attempts in one game all season.
Jeez.
His over-under for pass attempts right now is 37.5. Without Montgomery, I expect him to throw a bunch this game. If you look at his recent games, where are you, Nick? Come here, big dick Nick. We got 52 attempts, 41 attempts, 40 attempts, 39 attempts, 42 attempts, and 42 attempts. So I kind of like the 37.5. The over. They are underdogs, so if they're playing from behind, Nick's gonna be throwing regardless. So
Yeah, they
I
can't
like
get a
player prop.
run game going. That's their issue.
All right.
Well,
I'll go.
I was gonna ask you a question. Did
Who?
you?
I has to
did
give his
you-
game prediction.
Well, no, I was gonna ask you. Did you answer that guy's question in the chat?
What?
A-Rob or Mooney?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just double checking. Go ahead. Give your prediction, Gigs.
No, it's
I
me.
already gave it, baby.
Oh, okay. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna say it's gonna be 23-20 Bears tonight. That's gonna be my prediction. I think it's gonna go under 44.5. It's gonna be a little bit of a defensive battle here, but I do think the Bears. I am a bit surprised, honestly, that Minnesota's 3.5 point favorites. I know that the Bears haven't been looked that good, but at the same time, we've kind of talked about this yesterday. Like they've had a hard stretch of games here. It's not like they haven't been playing nobodies. Like they've been playing some of the better teams in the NFL. And I mean, they did go into Tampa Bay. A lot of people think Tampa Bay is like the best team in the NFC. They went into Tampa Bay and beat Tampa Bay. And I'm not a big believer in Minnesota. I don't believe in Kirk Cousins on the road in a hostile environment. Well, I guess it's not really hostile because there's no fans, but on the road, I don't trust Kirk Cousins, so I'm gonna go with the Bears. So that being said, thank you guys. Just kidding, I tricked you guys. All right, so let's keep going through the game though. let's talk about this player or real quick. Do you think it's going to go over or under 44.5? Well, I guess going by your predictions, most of you say over, right? Well, Ryan, you're going to
I
say
have under.
under by 0.5. Gigs, you think it's going to go over though?
I do. I think my prediction was 28-24. So
Mhm.
just a little bit
What's
over.
the spread?
Think
So
s-
you think it's even the spread? Well, because you have the Bears winning, so you think they'll obviously.
Yeah, I guess I got them covered, folks.
And you got the money line this too. Oh baby, oh baby. So there you go. Can you do all three of them in a parlay? Does it let you?
No, well, sometimes they'll have like a parlay prop bet that you can do. It'll be like Chicago wins and they go over, or Chicago covers and it hits the over, and it'll give you like the odds for it.
Right now they have
Okay.
the over under at
So
44.5
yeah,
on
40.
FanDuel.
So you can't do if you're gonna do that. So say you're gonna bet because you like the Bears, you could bet line spread and the over under. Bet $10, win $37. Oh, there you go. There you go. Or you could be like Ryan, do your bet. So, anyways, how do we feel about Anthony Miller tonight? Do you think he's going to have a decent game right now? He's at 37.5. How do you feel about Anthony Miller?
I don't like Anthony Miller. I talked about it a little bit earlier. I like Darnell Mooney, and they're the same style, I guess, of player. Or are they the same type of role in that offense that Miller once had?
Oh, look at that. I'm not sure, but Oludi said something here real quick. He said Kirk Cousins is 0-9 in his career on Monday night.
That's about to change.
He's about to be 1-9 after tonight, says Kyle. But that is why I don't like Kirk Cousins. He chokes during those big games. This is a big game. If they want to have any shot at the division. Well, I don't think they have. Well, what is the Packers record? Do they only have 2 losses?
I think they have 9.
I think they have 2 losses.
I haven't. I'll look.
I think right now, I think they're. Oh, I know the Saints were. There was a few teams tied at 6-2 going into this week. I think in the NFC. I believe the Packers were one of them.
I don't. Why can't?
Quick question. Do you guys like Dalvin Cook over 20.5 rushing attempts?
I do. I think that
29.5. You said
20.5.
29.5. I would definitely bet the under on that.
I was gonna say, are you kidding me? Like
That'd be a smash. That's close. That is really tough. I think so. I think they just try to run the ball, and I do think
Packers
it's
are
going to be
7-2.
a defensive battle here. So I think I'd go over. I feel like I'd probably go under though. 20's a lot. That's a lot of carries.
I have to figure out how much he touches the ball every game.
I say
His receptions is 2.5. I like that one too. I like the over.
I did see that.
I was gonna say
What is his
over.
receiving yards? I forget what his receiving yards
His receiving yards is 19.5. And I was gonna
Oh.
say that was gonna be one of my bets. I like the under on that.
You like the under for
Yes.
Cook?
Yes. I'm ballsy. These are my bets.
Hey,
Wait.
wait.
What?
No, go ahead.
All right, because I think that the offense, I think they're going to throw a lot tonight. Because, I mean, the Bears' defense is pretty good. So I don't think it's going to be an easy night for Dalvin Cook. So they're going to throw a lot. And I like Justin Jefferson tonight. So I like him over 4.5 receptions. And I do like Kirk Cousins over 1.5 touchdowns tonight.
Oh, baby. That's why you're
Those
betting
are
the
2
Vikings.
official bets.
Yes,
I'm gonna
those
track
are 3. Because I did the Cook under 19.5 receiving yards too.
Oh, okay.
Real quick, because we didn't do this yet. I'm going to beat Kyle in fantasy this week.
Yeah.
Real quick. Let's do the first touchdown scores because we didn't do that actually. Let's get that out of the way too. Make sure we get it before the game.
right.
Has anybody looked at it? Need time?
I know I like
Are we ready?
Mooney. I like Mooney for Chicago.
What is
And
his?
he was, I think, plus 1,200 on draft.
Yeah, 1,200 on DraftKings right now. Okay, so Mooney for
I'll
Chicago.
go. Yeah, for the Vikings, I think I'm going to go a little deep because I think his odds are pretty solid. I'm going to go Rudolph
What's Mooney's odds on DraftKings?
plus
1,200.
He's 1,400 on FanDuel.
Oh,
Really?
there you go. So there's better if
What's,
you're gonna.
what's Rudolph on DK?
He is 1,300.
He's 14 on FanDuel.
Oh, so for both of them, if you like Mooney to score first or Rudolph, go to FanDuel because it's better odds there. So
Tanner, you're just
FanDuel.
lucky I do this show because I said on the show to start Nyheim Hines over Jonathan Taylor, and I never even did it myself. So if I would have, it'd be a pretty good matchup still. I'm so pissed at myself for that. God, we need to remind ourselves on the show and everybody like 15 minutes before game time, like go change your lineup, everybody, so everybody remembers and so I remember. I did start the Titans defense. That was really stupid on my part. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. Oh, and I
What
have the
about-
Colts on my bench? But okay, I want to tell my first touchdown score.
All right, go for it.
I think first touchdown score. You ready? You better
Yeah.
write
Go for
this
it.
one down. All right, Cordero Patterson.
Right.
It's happening. Tonight he's running one in. They're going to get a little hot in the beginning, running wise, and then it's just going to be a high flight, duke it out, pass it between Nick Foles, the GOAT, and Kirk Cousins.
Who do
Who I
you
like
think
tonight.
for the other side then?
I haven't thought that far, but I think even though the odds are pretty low or not very great, I think Justin Jefferson, if the Vikings score, I think he's going to be the first touchdown scorer.
All right.
Okay. Giggs, what about you? Have you thought about it?
Yeah, I was going to say for the Chicago side, I'd probably go Jimmy Graham or Mooney. I told Cruz to go Mooney, and we already said Mooney, so I'll stick with that one. We're telling the people go Mooney. On the other side, so Vikings. Oof. I'm gonna go. I gotta check these odds real quick. What's Alexander Madison's odds on DK?
I was just looking at it. It is 1,800 on
All right.
DK.
He's 2,000 on FanDuel. I think I'd go him on the other side of the ball. So Vikings, Madison, and then for Chicago, Mooney. But I like
Dude.
Jimmy Graham for anytime touchdown for sure tonight.
Dude,
No,
FanDuel
Max.
must have been watching our stream and hear us call them out so much for
They
their bad
have. I was
first
gonna say
good
they've
touchdown
gotten better.
scoring odds.
They look like they're all better basically, except a couple on.
You gotta
FanDuel.
check all the books whenever you're making bets. Like this is definitely the case with first touchdown. You can go
I should pull up
someone
Bet Rivers.
1,000 odds and someone else has like 3,000. That's a huge difference. Bet
gonna
smart, people.
All right,
Yeah,
Ty, you're the last one.
Bet responsibly, as always. I want to just get this pulled up on River.
Oh, and if you have an addiction, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Would you trade away Tyler Boyd late 2021 rookie pick 12-16 for P. Ryan and a top 5 2021 rookie pick currently third? I'm rebuilding. Well, that's in depth. Why don't you go answer that one on Twitter, and you don't have to answer it on here. Because I thought that was going to be an easier question, but Jesus.
What is this on?
It's on Twitter.
Oh, you're saying on Twitter. Okay. Would you trade away Tyler Boyd, late 2021 draft pick, 12 through 16 rounds, for P. Ryan and top 5 2021?
I figure you're probably going to have
Pick
to think
early
about
third.
that one a little bit.
Well, if it's a top 5 pick and you get P. Ryan, if that means like top 5 rounds, which I'm assuming it means top 5
Yeah.
pick. currently third. Do we have some good running backs coming out of this draft, Gigs? You would know. Out of
No
all of us.
ETN.
I honestly have not
ETN.
gotten to follow like any college football this year like I'd like to.
I like
What
ETN.
did you
I'm
say?
in a dynasty league, and I've been hoping that I get first because I like Travis. Well, I guess it all depends on where they land.
Mhm.
But there is a few. The dude, his name off from Alabama, slipping my mind right now. But ETN, and then there's one other solid running back. So it's like that, and then I think Jamar Chase was early. I would look at like dynasty type picks, and those would be the top four: Jamar Chase, and then the three running backs.
So
ETN being
basically,
probably first.
would you give up Tyler Boyd for that?
I don't think I would because I feel like Boyd and Burrow's chemistry is just going to keep like building. And
Mhm.
we all sit here and say how good Burrow is. So if you have a good quarterback passing Boyd the ball for the rest of his career, assuming obviously that he stays, I don't know that I would take a chance on some of these other guys with that. I mean, you saw it with Jonathan Taylor this year. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is one of the main guys you want to draft in a
It's
dynasty
terrible.
league. And as of right now, he looks like a complete wasted number one or number two pick, and depending on if the person went CEH or him or I guess Dobbins.
I mean, I
Mhm.
do
But the
think
top
for
tier
sure
pick this year.
next year, once that offense starts gelling even more, it's going to be T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. That's it. I don't care if AJ Green plays 4 more years with Joey Burrow. I think he's out of his prime, and those two are already better than he is.
He's washed.
Yeah, he is. It's unfortunate because the dude was amazing.
Who?
Yeah.
AJ Green.
Oh, AJ Green. He was looking pretty
There's-
good in the beginning of the season,
Yeah, there was a little promise for a little while, but it just
There's
isn't.
one running back, guys, that I do know of in college football. Khalil Herbert for Virginia Tech. He's supposed to be an absolute stud. So that's one guy I do know of. But other than that, I'm kind of with you guys that like Tyler Boyd is definitely going to be the dude moving forward, not AJ Green. Boyd and Higgins,
Mhm.
and they throw the ball a lot. So I view Tyler Boyd as a wide receiver 2-3. Are you going to get that value in this draft with a rookie? I don't know. I mean,
Right.
unless someone's getting thrust into that situation, I mean, how many teams really need a starting running back? And if they need a starting running back, how good is their O-line? Will he be productive? Clyde went to the Chiefs. You couldn't go to a better situation than that. Everyone was getting a hard on for Zach Moss. What's he done this year? You know, the best running back this
Mhm.
year that's a rookie, in my opinion,
James
is
Robinson.
undrafted. Yeah. So I don't know. You want to roll the dice that way, you can, but that's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking about it because I'm one of those people that I'm just big on like the sexiness of a first round draft pick, somebody fresh, somebody new. But I do
Yeah.
think I love Boyd a lot. Like I think Boyd's really good. So I probably want to do it just because I do think Boyd's good. But you also do get P Ryan. Do you think P Ryan has any value going forward if they change coaches? Because I mean, who else are they going to have?
Talking the
I'd
Jets,
imagine.
Ryan.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to
Yeah,
confirm to
I
the Jets
love
P.
P.
Ryan.
Ryan.
So I mean, he is getting Jets P Ryan and a top 5 pick.
And that's someone we should talk about for real quick. That's someone you should add if he's out there. That's another waiver wire guy to be looking at is Perrine. I know there's probably 50, 60% ownage on him, but if he's hanging out there, I would go pick him up.
Kyler Murray is the most selfish player in the league. It's highly frustrating. Like I always had Zeke throughout his career. This was the first year I didn't have Zeke, but like last year, it'd be highly frustrating when you're a Zeke owner and Dak Prescott would take it and around, score a touchdown from the 5-yard line. It is so frustrating as a fantasy owner when they do that with your running back. It is. I do agree but he's really good. Well, I don't want to say he's really good because really from efficiency standpoint, he's not that good. But in terms of fantasy, he's a stud. He's a fantasy stud. But let's do my fantasy or my first touchdown scores real quick. So on the what side was it? Let me think here. Okay, so on the Chicago side, it's not going to be sexy. I'm going to go Allen Robinson, and I think he's 800. Yeah, 800 on FanDuel. And then on the other side, I was gonna go Rudolph, but I'm gonna change it up, and I'm gonna go Kirk Cousins, baby. He's gonna run it in. Hey, take that to the bank and deposit that. Kirk Cousins is gonna run it in, but I don't feel good about that. I do like Robinson tonight though. So let's go ahead and continue on with the show. Did everybody do theirs right?
Yeah, I have everybody.
Touchdown scores. Okay. Any other bets if you've been looking at it that you like tonight, real quick?
I have I had everyone down for 3 bets other than you, Ty.
You don't have me down for any?
I don't have any of yours. You may have said it and I just I wasn't looking at my computer to type them.
I like Mooney to go over. Well,
Yards.
Yeah, what is it now? I got it when it was at 43. I liked it when I was at 43. Even if it's at 45, I still like that. But if it's gone up like even more than that, I'll have to ponder it here for a minute.
I'll get
I
you.
expect them to get right around like 50.
It's at 45.5.
Okay, so that's fine. I do like that one. I
Ooh,
will
and it
take.
just got juiced. It literally just became plus odds, folks.
Oh man, there you go. There you go. So I do like him. I like the money line on Chicago. I do think Chicago wins tonight, so I do like that one. And I haven't really looked for a third one yet. Those were the main two I was really looking at. I guess what did I put? Oh, I did the alternative spread. I'll do something else though. For it.
Yeah, the Bears money line's solid. They're obviously getting plus odds on that.
Yeah, and I do think they win outright tonight. So, well, go ahead. Somebody take it over. Let me look real quick. Talk about whatever you want to talk about.
I'm just trying to get some bets in here because FanDuel again's trying to tell me I'm not located in Pennsylvania. Gosh, I love this.
Dude, yeah, you're not though.
Yeah.
Take my word on this one. Josh Jacobs is going to get 32 plus points this week. He will have more passing game work. Oh, okay. He did. I do think he had the most targets or most passing down work that he's had since week 1. So that is pretty good because I do think this is what they're going to do. They're going to not give him as many carries because they're going to give Booker a little bit of carries. And I think that's going to make him more involved in the passing game rather than them just loading it on all around. So I do think he will get a little bit more involved going forward in the passing game. But 32 points is a lot of points. That's a lot of fantasy points. Who do they play this week? I don't know who they play.
The Raiders play Chiefs.
I should know. Oh, the Chiefs. Oh, so they're definitely going to have to run the ball this week if they want to win. But they did beat the Chiefs already. So
we'll do it again.
Is it are they at home?
We'll do it again.
We'll do it live.
And Rashard is hurt, so that is definitely good for him in the passing game. And that's one person we didn't talk about in waiver wires. Booker. Pick up Booker, honestly. Because say something happens to Jacobs this week. Booker's like honestly a RB2 the rest of the way until obviously it depends on how long Jacobs would be out. But as long as Jacobs is out, like Booker's an RB2. So he's definitely somebody that should be added in all leagues like going forward. Well, not all leagues, but definitely like 12-man leagues going forward. But was somebody else going to say something? Ryan, were you saying something or going to say something?
No, I'm just getting all my bets in for Darnell Mooney.
I was
going
gonna
to
say
everything I
something.
can look at.
Hi, Gigs.
I was looking at receptions for Robinson. I think it's over 5.5. Do we like that, or are we not bullish on Robinson because of injury?
I'm bullish, but I don't like 5.5. I feel like 5's a really good number, so I probably wouldn't go over 5.5. Me personally, I wouldn't. But I do think what is his receiving yards? Last I saw was like 70 something.
76.5.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes you just got I got it right last week. Don't say that. Oh, I don't think Jacobs is going to get hurt. No, but I'm saying in the off chance that he does, Booker's a must add. I think that these are just really good odds for Vegas for Robinson. I think that they're pretty solid. Where I don't want to. If anything, I'd bet the under. Maybe I'm crazy though. He goes off. What do you think?
I think you're
Under
crazy.
on the yards for Robinson.
Yeah.
So Foles throws it a lot, but he doesn't get a shit ton of yards. So I don't think it's crazy to say under, but
Listen, guys, I mean, this is just more proof that Justin Jefferson's going to pop off. The highest graded wide receiver versus press coverage this season. Devontae Adams, 91.7. Justin Jefferson, 91.6.
Who says that? Pro Football Focus?
Yeah. Also,
Like
he
a
has
tweet?
most receiving yards per game by a rookie wide receiver all time. Odell 108.8, Anquan Bolden 86.1, Randy Moss 82.1, Justin Jefferson 78.4, T Higgins 75.4. That's crazy.
The thing with D-Book is last week he got carries because Jacobs wasn't 100%. This week he had garbage. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think like Booker's going to be that involved if the game's close, but I do think like like I said, the off chance that Jacobs doesn't get hurt, like Booker's definitely RB2 the rest of the way as long as he's hurt. But I don't think he's going to have as many carries as he did unless I do think that they definitely try to control this game through the ground, keep Mahomes off the field because obviously that's how you're going to try to beat him and get some quick 3-and-outs, but I don't think they're going to beat him. That defense isn't good enough, but yeah. I do like, now that I'm looking at it, I like Null to go over receiving yards, 13.5. I think that's going to be my third one.
All right.
So, what are they? Mooney to go over, Null to go over, and money line on the
I'll
Bears.
go money line.
I'm a Bears fan tonight. I'm going to be rooting for you. Hopefully you're watching this, Richie. Although you haven't been. Are you even our friend anymore? Gosh. Were you going to say anything else, Giggs, or were you done with what you were saying? I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if
was
I cut
done.
you off. Okay. All right. Sorry if I cut you off. Anything else that you guys want to talk about? Maybe going into this week? Anything that you want to talk about? Some good plays that you've been looking at? Well, early DFS. I know it's really early. Waz loves to pull that up. Does he do it tonight, or is it
it's already available.
up? Like now, is it up?
It's already available.
Okay. Have you been looking at it or next week? Have you looked at it at all or no? Yeah.
Yeah, I've looked at some of the player pool. I'm not quite sold on
Was there anybody that you were interested in?
what the fuck's going on here. Yeah, so if you're gonna include the Thursday night game, I wouldn't mind like stacking the hell out of that going into Sunday, because it's Arizona, Seattle. I like Hopkins, I like Metcalf, and I like Kyler Murray a lot in that game. I guess I don't have any Sunday only lineups set right now. I made a Monday into Thursday lineup.
Okay. I wonder what I haven't even looked at like the lines really. I haven't really looked at the schedule as well. I'd imagine that I think that Atlanta New Orleans game is probably going to be one of the highest scoring games of the slate, probably projected to be. Like the over under is probably going to be the highest, but I'm not sure. I haven't really looked at the other lines that much, but it doesn't look. I'm trying to look right now, and it doesn't look like there's that many good games this weekend.
Holy shit! I guess you play Mike Davis at 7,400 against Detroit.
57. The early line for the Chiefs Raiders. 57. You like that? You like
That was high
that?
scoring when they played last time. I
game
think they were
almost
both
hit,
in
like,
their
70.
30s, right?
Final score was like 40.
It was.
Something.
I'm gonna bet the under on that though. I don't think it's as high scoring this time. Let's see. What is I did see one more that I wanted to look at real quick. Who was it? Yes, the Bucks. What is theirs? 47.5. So not too crazy. I just put $30 on Rudolph over 2.5 receptions. Oh baby, who made the Rudolph bet? Did anybody say Rudolph?
That
You
Gigs.
like
was
that bet?
me.
Oh, okay, so if you don't,
Wow.
Giggs owes you $30. No, I'm
Don't
just
worry, I'm putting 5 on it. It's not 30, but
it's something. That's all that
it's
matters.
something.
Another hot take. Antonio Gibson is going to get more work next week since he played 33% snaps and played amazing. Hey, that's what we've been saying all year. Like, honestly, he looks good on the limited snaps. It's not improving each week. Like, it's not like his snaps are going up. They're actually very inconsistent week to week. The one week he did, I don't think he's outsnapped JD McKissick since he like has had an official
He
role.
might have against Dallas, and that's it.
No, even in Dallas he didn't. JD
Well,
McKissick played one extra snap than him. It was only one, but still one extra snap. Just crazy.
yeah, other than Scary Terry, I mean, it seems like McKissick is the number 2 option to throw the ball to. Maybe Logan Thomas, but it looks like it's McKissick. That's how much volume he's getting.
I mean, the past 2 weeks has definitely been him. Yeah.
Dude, I saw
He's
this stat.
Was
It
it
was a stat.
29 targets?
It was a stat that said number of players that have had more than 14 targets in like list of consecutive games. It was like their entire career. It was like a bunch of stud receivers, like Julio Jones a couple of times, like, and then these other guys that are like Hall of Famers. Whenever you're looking at this list, and then J.D. McKissick was right. There were 2 consecutive games he's had over 14 targets.
It's just Alex Smith, man. Check down Alex. It doesn't make sense. No, well, I'll say this, and I said this last time. The only thing that I do think makes a little bit of sense is that he's a rookie running back. A lot of the times when you have rookie running backs, like I remember Zeke, I remember even Kareem Hunt, like midway through the season, they hit a wall. And then it takes a little bit of time for them to break out of that little slump that they have. I just think that they're taking their time with Gibson because he is a really special talent, not just running the football, but also in the receiving game as well. They're a young team. They're going to be a team that's going to be trying to rebuild. So don't give your running back all the work yet. Let them kind of get acclimated. And then next year, I think next year, when we start doing like fantasy for next year, he's going to definitely be at the top of my list for one of the players to go out and get.
You guys ready for this?
let's
Players McKissick has more reception or more targets than T. Higgins, Robert Woods, Will Fuller, Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, Julio Jones, Devontae Parker.
Oh
This
my
guy is
gosh.
a wide receiver too at running back.
It really is. The only part hasn't been the yards. Really, it's been not that many yards. But if you're in PPR, like he's honestly like probably a running back one, very close to it. Going forward, at least should be with Alex Smith back there. He's going to see a ton of targets. Like it's just how it's going to go. And I was looking at their schedule. They probably might be in some games, might win some games, but at the same time, they'll also probably be down in a lot of these games. So even more opportunity for him going forward.
And a very good matchup against Cincy next week. I like
Very
Gibson and McKissick in that one.
Gibson or CEH? Who do you prefer long term?
Like dynasty by long term or rest of the season?
Dynasty.
I'd say CEH.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the guy
I'd
who's in
probably
a
say.
good
I don't
franchise.
think Le'Veon's
Better
gonna be
offense.
there after next year. So I don't think like anybody's really worried about Le'Veon anymore
Yeah.
because Clyde's great. I don't even know why really.
Dang
they
it, I
signed
forgot
him.
to change
Kind of a
my-
waste of money.
It's
Stadium.
If Clyde were to go down, that's your backup. I think
Sure.
that's how they look at it.
Yeah, I guess.
Tyler's still in his
still
flight
in
got
Pittsburgh.
his car he got stranded in Pittsburgh.
Rona. McKissick is so bad. He caught 7 to 16 targets. I wouldn't say he's so bad. Like if you watch Alex Smith, just because he threw for basically 400 yards does not mean he's any good. Like he overthrows. McKissick was wide open on a touchdown. He overthrew him by like 10 yards. It was pathetic. McKissick burned. I don't know if he was on a linebacker in coverage. Was wide open. Alex Smith overthrew him. Alex Smith just isn't any good. But he sees a ton of volume, so hey, there's that. That volume's king in fantasy. Volume is king in fantasy. And I expect him to have a lot of passing attempts this week against Cincinnati. So I think he's a decent streaming option too,
Straight
if it comes down to
facts.
that. So anything else here? Any other questions in the chat that you guys have? We'll start to wrap it up because Ryan's got to go watch this game. This is going to be a highly competitive game. You know, Richie, he's waiting.
Richie's
what
already
do you
like
think
6
Richie's
beers
doing
deep.
right now?
He's drinking a beer
Not watching
with his
this.
legs crossed on his couch,
True.
sipping a beer, petting his dog.
Leaning over his legs too. Like they're crossed, but like tucked behind him. But he's leaning over too, staring at his phone an inch away from the screen, with both hands. That's literally what Richie Turley's doing down right now. I hope he's watching so he can confirm
Kenny
this.
Drake will look a lot better the second half. I felt like he was injured. He looked pretty good this past week, I will say that. Hopefully, going forward, if you have Drake and you're a Drake manager, hopefully he's better going forward because the first half of the season was no bueno. No good. So hopefully he does get better. Definitely not what you paid for.
Yeah.
But so hasn't a lot of guys. It's been an injury-plagued season. You got Joe Mixon. I drafted him basically all my leagues, so I'm hurting a lot. Has not been good.
I have Jonathan
Miles
Taylor.
Sanders has been good, but Jonathan Taylor. But at least you paid a third-round draft pick for him, or possibly later, depending
I don't
on when you
remember
draft
when I
it.
picked him.
Where
But I have Hines
second
too,
round,
so
first
it could be
not
worse.
good.
And I called it in the beginning of the season too that Nyheim Hines would be at least I didn't think Jonathan Taylor was going to be bad. I never thought that. I just thought Hines was going to have a really big role in the offense because I thought he was really good last year. And well, eventually I figured it would happen. I didn't think it would happen because Jonathan Taylor sucks. But hey, trade me, Tanner. You could use a new running back, right?
Jameis Winston or Burrow? Who would you go this week? Jameis or Burrow?
Burrow has Washington, and Jameis has Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
I guess Jameis.
I will say, and I'm not trying to call you out, Derek, put you on the spot, but I do think it's funny when people ask this. They say Jameis Winston or Burrow in half PPR. Like the PPR doesn't matter in that circumstance because they're not getting any receptions.
There is
right?
an off
So you
chance
could
that it matters.
If it's
Josh
Nick
Allen,
Foles,
he got that 0.5 points this week for that.
Yeah, that
tutty.
was some bullshit. That was some bullshit. But no, I honestly I like Winston. No, I'll go Burrow. I'll go Winston. I'm gonna go Winston. You guys probably go Burrow. Who would you go?
I'd go Winston.
I mean, if Matt Stafford and the Lions can do well offensively, well, I mean, they did have Swift. Swift popped off. But I don't know. I think Burrow's. Well, actually, no. We're not. We're forgetting something. Who knows what's going to happen with Burrow this week? Because his injury. You see, he literally couldn't even walk. He could barely walk off the field that last play. So something to look at. I think it's a high ankle sprain. I could be completely wrong. That's just what it looked like. So if you're a Burrow owner, keep up with that all week. Go look at Fantasy Doctor or whatever you got to look at because, I mean, honestly, are they going to risk him seriously injuring himself when they only have, 2 wins? I don't know. So that's something to look at. So Winston could be a good option for you this week.
I think Winston will be pretty solid. Playing Atlanta, I think it's pretty solid. Giggs, I'll leave you to this question. Crowder or Woods for the rest of the season?
Or Antonio Brown. He added that part at the end.
Brown.
Okay. I would go Crowder because even with Mims, I think he is the for sure one option. And when he's played, he's been wide receiver 2 material. I know they have Joe Flacco for one more week. Darnold's not supposed to play this week, but I think you hold on to Crowder. I know there's a Q tag next to him every fucking week, which is annoying, but when he plays, he's solid, and I'm holding on to him in a couple of my leagues, so I'll stick with him.
Do you
I think
feel
I
any
might go
different, Ryan?
Antonio Brown though. I think I like rest of season. I think it's starting to like slowly
It is.
just build, and I could see him being not a league winner, but like obviously for the value of not paying anything for him or adding him from the waiver, if he ends up producing for you in the playoffs like a wide receiver 2 would, then potential to like literally if he pops off one of those weeks in like the semifinals or like the finals, like win you a championship because
My
he
only
has the potential to
question-
do that.
My only question with him though is I agree. I think that it's starting to finally happen. Those two are starting to build chemistry, but that game also we talked about Godwin catching the ball with a cast, but Mike Evans and Tom Brady are actually starting to finally come together too. So could that be bad for Antonio Brown moving forward? Plus his antics that we talked about today, his court case is pending, which could be
I don't think
resolved within the next few weeks.
Ryan was there. I
Yeah,
think he was in the bathroom. Did you see that, Ryan?
What?
The new stuff that's being released with the security cameras or some BS.
No, I
He's
haven't seen
breaking
anything.
stuff or something.
he smashed security cameras that were in a gated community.
That
And he
wow.
threw his bike at a at like a security booth.
Recently?
Dude, he's
Yeah.
got issues.
So here's the thing: he's just such a liability. I mean, my dumbass drafted Antonio Brown last year, and I'll never pick him up, trade for him, do anything for him again. He's like a TO. And he's just a crazy man, and you never know when he's going to just lose it. So if you want to, there's no doubt in my mind that he's one of the best wide receivers when he plays, right? Like you look at that team, you got 3 of the top maybe 15, 20 wide receivers in the league on that team alone. When AB's healthy and he's good to go, he's like a top 5 talent in the league still. But he's crazy, and you don't know if he's going to behave himself. You don't know if he's going to get benched or put in the doghouse for acting a fool. So that's the risk you take with him is he can be a bonehead and then he's not playing because his antics, whereas Crowder's hamstrings made of glass. But they're both studs when they play.
We got a question from Mike Cruz. Worth the hold on to John Brown through the bye with his new injury? What do you guys think? Is he worth the hold, or would you drop him?
I would
I
say
guess-
yeah, unless there's someone out there.
Yeah, unless you see somebody in our
Yeah,
waiver
it depends
wire
on who
videos.
you're picking up. In our waiver wire videos, yeah. But I will say this, and this is what I'm going to kind of talk about in my buy and sell video, is that with guys going through their buys right now, like if you're in a position where you need to win right now, like you can't wait any longer. Like especially if you have like Austin Eckler, Christian McCaffrey, if you need to win now to get in the playoffs, you need to do everything you can. This is no longer a season-long league. This is a week-by-week league for you. It's do or die. You need to make the best moves to possible to let you win now. So if you have John Brown and you need a flex play, Kalen Ballage, I honestly think is a pretty good flex play this week. I would drop Brown for Kalen Ballage. That's just my take on it. And I'm going to answer the question real quick. Crowder, Woods, Antonio Brown. I'd probably go Crowder as well because I am a little bit worried. I'm a little worried about this AB news. What if it starts to build a bigger story than what it actually is? And you've already, like I already said this earlier, you have the Bruce Arians. I couldn't think of his name. Bruce Arians, he already said like no bullshit. If he's a headache, we're dropping him right away. So I'm a little bit worried about that. That's the only thing, but I do think both of them are studs. Especially AB. You'll always be in my heart, AB. But I do like AB a lot, though. But I'd probably go Crowder because dude's an animal when he plays. When he plays, that's the key thing, though. When he plays. With that being said, any final takes from you guys? Anything?
No, I think
Good?
Nicky Foles has a good game tonight.
I really like the over on receptions for Chicago players.
Anybody who hasn't done the parlay for the people, I'm going to repost it right now in the chat. So if you haven't submitted your parlay for the people, do it right now.
And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe this video. We'd really appreciate it. Make sure you follow us on all of our social medias. That's in the links below. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all over the place. So make sure you follow us at all of that in the links below. AB, to the Browns
They'd be
when Bucks drop
stupid
them.
if they did that. They'd be so stupid.
I mean,
It
they
would
need a
never
wide
happen
receiver.
anyways.
They need a wide receiver, so hey,
As
why
if
not?
Odell wasn't bad enough.
That'd be. How do you think Chubb will be for the rest of the season? Love Chubb. I was looking at his schedule real quick. Let me just see what his schedule is. So for the rest of the season, they have Jacksonville, Tennessee, Ravens, Jets, Giants. Mwah. That's beautiful. That's what I'm saying. If you're a Dalvin Cook owner, I would definitely try to go out and trade for Chubb because I also think you could probably get Chubb and someone else for Dalvin Cook. Not a high skill player, but somebody like honestly like a Darius Slayton who has a really good schedule going forward as well. I think that he'd be a good key, a nice little piece for you throughout the playoffs. So he has a really good schedule going forward. So, anything else?
If you're watching, like the video. There's 5 of you who haven't, and I will come and find you.
Jordan Howard reunites with the Bears. Does he land anywhere? Gosh, do you want him to land anywhere? I know Cruz, you had him when his breakout season, his rookie season, so you probably have a little spot in your heart for him. But if he lands anywhere, it's probably going to be to a team I'd imagine like maybe the Bears. I don't even think so. Like I don't know where he goes. I don't even think anybody picks him up honestly, unless they're desperate. Somebody gets hurt and they need to pick him up. Do you guys think so? Like,
I mean, he's
he goes
finally
anywhere?
averaging over a yard per carry, so you got to consider him.
That is true. I don't think he goes anywhere though. I think he just stays a
sucks.
free agent until somebody's really desperate and brings him along for a tryout. Like, would you rather have Freeman or him? Like, who would you rather have on your team if you needed a
Freeman.
starting running back?
Freeman.
Freeman. And it took forever for Freeman to find somewhere, so I just don't think he goes anywhere personally.
Short-lived Howard.
It was
A good
a
career.
good little ride. It was a good little ride there. It's a good 2 years. So yeah. But any final takes? Any last questions? Feel free to ask. Any final takes from you guys?
Go
Anything else?
Bears.
Go Bears. The
Oh,
Bears. So, with that being said, thank you for watching. Truly, we do appreciate it. We see you in the chat. MP, thanks for hanging out. Derek, Cruiser. Hopefully you hit on your first touchdown player
Ludi.
bets tonight. Hopefully you made Ludi, yes. Thank you for hanging out with us, and hopefully you win all your bets, win fantasy leagues. We'll be releasing a bunch of videos throughout the week to help you win your leagues. So, thank you so much. Giggs is wrong. I don't wrong about what? Giggs isn't wrong. He's a guru. So, thank you for watching, and have a great day. See ya.
Good luck. See you guys.
Bye.